Well, I've been doing a little bit of work. I just got home from Let's Lumber where I bought two 1x4s. Unfortunately, I had to buy a new saw blade because the one that came with my saw is 18 tooth, and that would be a really rough cut. So I bought a 40 tooth uh, saw blade. And actually, the first thing I'm cutting is trimming off the little bit of the insulation foam. Creates a lot of dust. Thankfully, I don't think any of it is going into my lungs. Mainly just all over my hand, which is guiding the saw, and my other hand that's on the saw, you can see it's very little on there, so getting a lot of dust on me from moving stuff around, but the dust on my clothes itself is mainly from when I picked it up from up on the counter and put it down on the ground, so I didn't get as much dust on the layout, which we'll flip around the camera and show how much dust is on the layout. This is when I was cutting right. I cut right here. I was right here when I was cutting, and you can see quite a bit of dust around here. Some dust on the locomotives, dust there. Just use a vacuum and vacuum that off. Didn't get too much dust down on this stuff, so that's a good thing. You can see some intermixing of green and cinders over there from when I tipped it up on it when I flipped it over. That stuff is stuff that wasn't coming off, but it came off when I moved the layout. So, whatever. Not that big of a deal. This stuff on the edge can be put along the. I can vacuum that up and put that along, right along the cinder tracks. I'll make it kind of a intermix of green and black, and got to bring up a regular vacuum and vacuum the dust off all this stuff. It got as far as the GB39-2, but this is my hand, and that was right next to the blade, so it creates a lot of dust, but doesn't go too far. You can see dust way over here. That was being spit out. My saw is covered in dust. I got to vacuum that off too. But I set the depth gauge at 1 3/4, so this is still attached, and I can just take my box cutter, and that's what I did with the other end, because I got to trim a little off. Just take the box cutter, slide it along there. Just slide it in there, along there, and we have that off. So we have that ready for the 1x4s. They're actually downstairs on the porch. The porch is a mess, so I'm not sure how I'm going to show those. Probably when they're on the sawhorses outside. I got to figure out something to set underneath the one end, so when I cut them, they aren't going to fall into the snow. So that's what I forgot to get. I might as well not cut them today because I forgot to get screws. I didn't have the money to get screws. I completely forgot about it. I thought about it as I was heading over there, and then I completely forgot about it. Well, that's unfortunate. But we have 1x4s, 1x4 along there. I only have two 8-foot 1x4s. So when I get paid when I get money next month, I'll get more 1x4s and the screws. That ticks me off that I forgot the screws. Oh well, I'm not going to go back to the lumberyard. So yeah, we'll leave that module. That's the depot module. You can tell there's the wires there. We'll leave that upside down on the floor here, and so then I don't have to move it around to I have to move it back down here when I put the 1x4s down, because you have 1x4 going along that side, 1x4 going along this side, that side, that side, and then there's going to be cross ones in between, like one on the end here, right here, going across. We'll have a couple in the middle, and then one on that end. And that will, the ones in the middle will keep it from, will keep the foam from flexing, and it'll keep stuff that way, and I can just, yeah. So that's the plan. I'm not sure if the ones in the ends I'm going to put like here, and then put the outside ones here, because it's all going to be covered in hardboard anyway. So, yeah. I got to go clean my tools and clean myself. So, there's the cars that were on that section of the layout. So, yep, that's it for right now. We'll be back with when the modules are framed, which will be, I think I get more money in 2 weeks? Something like that. Somewhere around there. Okay, we got the wood here now. We only got 2 1x4s. I couldn't afford anything else. Weird thing is, now one end was different than the other. There's my saw right down there. This won't turn the light on. Come on, turn the light on. Turn the light on. There you go. A Milwaukee blade and a DeWalt saw. You gotta. Oh, the other one has. Huh. So these are 1x4s. This will be enough to frame this piece, this module, and should cut things outside. But it's dark. It's cold. It's 32 degrees outside. It is not that great weather, and I'm tired of putting this off. And I mean, I wanted to buy 10 1x4, so I had enough wood to do it all. I didn't do that. We won't have enough to do that one, but I want to get at least this framed off, and then I'm going to measure when next time I get money, I will be able to get the hardboard, the fiberboard at Home Depot. I'll drive to Home Depot and get the fiberboard, and then I'll be able to put the fascia on this piece. And I'm going to do that with wood glue. I was going to do it with screws. Couldn't do anything yesterday because I forgot the screws. Well, I went to Value today after my counseling appointment, and got some premium interior wood screws with 1.5 inch length, which is putting 3/4 of an inch into the end of the boards. These are supposed to not need pre-drilling, but I'm going to pre-drill anyway, just to be on the safe side, because I'm drilling them into 3/4 inch wide wood, and they are pretty decently thick themselves. So just to avoid splitting, we're going to do that. I'm not sure. I have not yet decided what I'm going to do about the ends. I kind of want the end pieces to go over the end of the long pieces, because that will make it so each thing is the different direction. Like the ends will be fastened on going that way, while the underside will be going in this way and this way. Just seems to be it'll be a bit stronger, not run the risk of being able to pull apart and it all fall apart. I think it'd be stronger that way, so I think I'm going to do it that way. Unfortunately, I messed up when I cut a little bit, and you can see it's not quite the right size there. It's way more than 3/4 of an inch, I think. I think it's way more than 3/4 of an inch. I think it's like 1/4 of an inch bigger. But yeah, I'm gonna cut these boards. Shouldn't do it inside, but whatever. Gonna do it. Use the foam itself as a sawhorse and cut it up here. Shouldn't create too much dust, and any dust will be on the floor, and I can vacuum it up later because I'm cutting 4 inches off the floor or 2 inches off the floor, whichever. So we'll come back when it's cut. And there we are. We have our 2 end pieces. I did decide to put the end ones on the outside of the edge ones because it's all going to be covered with hardboard anyway. So, and the hardboard, the outside edge, the ones that are on the outside will be over the ones that are on the divisions between the modules. The hardboard between the divisions and modules is protect the foam so it doesn't get damaged. Had some issues cutting. I had raised the depth to 1 inch because it's cutting 3/4 inch, but it wasn't deep enough. I kept getting bogged down. In fact, I have a little bit of a bad cut in this one piece that kind of messed me up. But once we get that screwed in, I can take the sander downstairs, get some coarse sandpaper, which I have somewhere around here, and sand that off. And that won't be too big of an issue, or I could probably do it with the Dremel tool. But yeah, minimal sawdust. You see a little bit of sawdust down there. Didn't really create that much sawdust because it's a 40-tooth blade. The 18-tooth that the saw came with, oh man, that would have created a lot of dust, and it would have created a very rough cut. Keeping it straight is definitely a problem, but it's going to be covered up anyway, so I don't really care that much. A little bit of waviness isn't going to make that much of an issue. I'm not building a piece of furniture. Well, I guess sort of I am. Whatever. But I only had enough wood to cut the 2 end pieces and 1 piece for the middle. That's out of 2 8-foot 1x4s. So I need 10 more 1x4s. So yeah, at $8.29 a piece, unless I find some place where they're cheaper. Unless I get them at Home Depot, supposedly they're like $5 there. I don't know, but I don't know. The wood at Home Depot, every time I see it, it seems seems to be heavily warped. So I'm not too sure about that. Wait a minute, I forgot. I already had these pieces. I already had this piece. I was going to use it for the outside of this module. And I have the other piece. Where is it? Oh, the other piece is up there. Shoot. Ow! Splinter there. Big splinter. I would have had to have cut a little bit off that. And these modules are a very odd size. They are actually 49 inches long. No, 40. They're a little over. No, they are not 49 inches. They're a little over. They're 48 an inch. 48 and 1/8 of an inch. Threw me off because I measure from the 1 instead of using the hook, because sometimes the first inch is not accurate. So now the next thing is to wipe off these boards, which I have my rag there for a cleaning track. I'll just use that and then shake it out. And or I can use the paper towels over there. Probably use the paper towels to be better. And dust these off and then frame this module as much as I can. I'll also be putting, also mount the NCE thing to the wood. Maybe? Yeah, I will. So, yeah, that's that. for right now. See you in a bit. Okay, it's the next day. I was going to film more when I was up here, but my phone was going dead like crazy. It was like losing 20% of battery every 10 minutes. So this is how the module is right now. We still have yet to put in the cross pieces. This is one cross piece. And I think I showed on the other video that you have a little bit of unevenness there. For some reason, I just can't cut really straight with a circular saw. There's a, see a little there. Here it is. I think I showed on the other video how this had not cut quite right. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. This is not cut quite right, and it left a little extra here. Well, I actually cut that off with the box cutter. It was thin enough that I could cut right off with a box cutter. So that was cut off. This is one cross piece that will go across here. Unfortunately, see that? It was cut a little bit too short. So I gotta trim a little bit off that, like enough for the width of the saw blade, which I'm gonna have to clamp that to a sawhorse or something to hold it still, so I can do that tiny little bit of trimming on that. But you can see we have the end boards screwed on. This nice and strong. I did pre-drill the holes. Here's my drill bit. Pre-drilled every hole just to be on the safe side so it didn't split. We have a little bit of a overhang there. I didn't quite get that lined up straight. This one is pretty straight. This is a little bit over, but I have the sander that I use to do the windows outside. And I have coarse sandpaper around here so I can take some of this stuff off, trim this styrofoam down. I can use a utility knife to trim that down. Or I can just use the foam cutter, the wand bit, and like run it along the edge there to just take off that little bit. Anyway, so that's that. This is not secured in here. It is just sitting there. The next step is we have to have another 1x4 to finish this one. I thought I was going to be able to do it all with one. I would have been able with two. I would have been able to do with it if I had remembered these. These are that's the other 1x4 that I had bought. The first 1x4 that I bought for the programming track. And I was going to glue it back together end to end. And yeah, that did not work. I thought it would work, but it didn't work. It wouldn't stay. So this was supposed to be the sides of one of these. Unfortunately, it was forgotten. So was the other one that's up there. So this will be the sides for another one. So I need 9 more 1x4s to build the entire layout. One more for this piece. For this, because I can get 3 cross pieces out of one 1x4. So it needs 2 1x4s for the ends and 1 middle cross piece. Well, there'll be an end piece here. There'll be one about where this one is sitting, and then there'll be another one here, and then there'll be another one here. The ones on the outside will give something to attach legs to. I might do like folding legs or something like that. I don't know. Something. And yeah. But this is literally sitting on the ground upside down. Let's move the screws and stuff like that. Yeah, styrofoam is falling out, so I can't really. It's tight. The bottom piece is tight in there, so you pick it up, that will come out, but then the wires will come out, and I don't want to have to rethread them through there. The next purchases, I don't know if I'm going to get more locomotives in February or not. My income dropped significantly, unfortunately, completely unplanned, and be a little bit difficult, more difficult going forward. Not too much, not. Just February is going to be a little tighter than I had initially planned on it, so I won't be getting 2 locomotives in February. I will most likely be putting that off and maybe getting 2 or 3 in March. I might order one in February just to get one of the ones that I really want, so I don't miss out on that. But yeah, although it is possible to get one of them from a train show is DCC ready and then put a decoder in it. I don't know. We'll have to see. So, yep, that's the freight depot module. It is, the outside framing is done. I'm not gonna trim that and put that in. I'm gonna trim, when I trim it, I'm going to wait to trim it until I have the other boards, so I can trim it to the right size and then do the right size of the board after marked the right size for the board, or the middle boards out. Probably should have waited and marked those, but yeah, whatever. I can remeasure those. So, yeah, it's coming along slowly. Won't be doing any operations for a while, but I wasn't really doing any operations anyway, because once we get that done, not going to put any senior material on that until it's framed, because this one we lost some senior material. You can see it over there, and on the DCC controllers more grass fell off. I don't know, it probably doesn't look too bad on the other side. In fact, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to flip this over and take a look. All right, there is the top of it. From this angle, you can really see the ruts that were created by the glue and stuff like that. Yeah, I got some places where it wasn't secure. That was the plus side of flipping this over. You got to see where it wasn't secure and where it was. Right down through there, that all came off. The track is not loose. That is glued in there, but the ballast was loose. We got quite a bit of loose ballast that fell out of there. So, yeah, once I get that flipped over, you got some more down there. Little places that you missed in the missed with the glue, or it didn't soak in right. There's quite a bit of places in between the rails that it's not secured. So, that's got to be fixed, because that does not look good. I didn't mind some ruts because it makes it look like stuff has sunk into the cinders, but yeah, that needs to have some work done to it. A lot of the ground cover came off, but it still looks good. Still looks decent. There's some places where it's the hard stuff where I had put alcohol and put diluted glue on it. Here I had just spread around some diluted glue and sprinkled ground foam on it, and it stayed. There's some more that's still loose over there. You got some dirt on there. That's dust from cutting the styrofoam. from cutting the blue foam underneath and cutting those pieces up there off the ends. So this would fit. Here you can see a little bit of overhang there. You got to take that down with a sander. But after I cut the little bit extra off of here or off the other side, I'm not sure which side I'm going to cut off. Probably the other side. We'll just not have the sidewalk. Yeah. Got a lot of ways and a lot of things to do going forward. Fixing the scenery that fell off, but I figured some would fall off when I flipped it over, and didn't really matter to me, because it's very difficult to tell what's loose and what's actually secured when it's lying flat and you can't flip it over. In fact, I wonder how many other layouts there's scenery that you think is secure, but it actually isn't. I wonder how many other layouts, if you flip them over, how much ground cover and ballast would fall out. Especially in dealing with cinders, these things are so fine. It's hard for the glue. I've had to put 2 and 3 coats of glue on it to get it to stick because they're so fine. But that's it for this layout update. We'll be back in February with another one.